Hey everybody, and welcome back to my so-called mom life. So as most of you know, I love a good challenge, and a friend shared a challenge with me that last year I was not 100% sure I could actually do, and so as a bit of a coward, I backed away from the challenge. But this year I decided I am not going to be a coward any longer, and I am going to take this challenge head on. Little did I know that I would have company in this challenge. It is the No Junk Food Challenge, and if you would like to hear more, come along with me. All right, so the No Junk Food Challenge. This is something that sounds quite easy, but some of the things on the list are a little difficult. And so I did have a bit of a struggle with some of the items on there, especially when it came down to peanut butter. So what is it? It is 21 days with no chocolate, no candy, no biscuits or cookies, no cake, donuts or muffins, no pastries, no white bread, no chips, no fast food, no peanut butter or spreads of any kind, no soda, and no ice cream. Now, it being spring, we actually go for ice cream a lot, so that one kind of was like, oh, that might hurt. Also, the only bread I've actually found gluten-free that I care for is a white bread that's gluten-free, so that one I was a little nervous about. The no chips, because we have a lot of easy dinners in the house, especially with different clubs going on, that we actually have chips as our side with it, so such as grilled cheese or hot dogs. And so I kind of panicked a bit and said, what are we gonna have for a side? So last year, like I said, this was a little bit too much for me. This year I said, I'm gonna do it. And who decided to do it with me? Well, everybody actually. My husband was the first to join the bandwagon and said, you know what, I'm gonna do this to support you, which was amazing. Both my kids, however, were not as supportive. They both said, I don't think you can do this. And I said, oh, really? Okay, well, let's make a bet. And so we did. And that bet was, if I made it my full 21 days without cheating on any of these, then they have to do laundry for an entire week. Little do they know that means every day around this house. So if I do cheat and I break one of my rules for 21 days, then I have to buy each one of them a present or let them pick out a toy under $50. So I'm definitely not going to lose, especially since, you know, they were so supportive. It gave me even more of a fighting chance to make it through this. And then they decided to go after my husband as well, and so they also have a side bet with him. Now, funny enough, my husband kind of came back at him and said, okay, how about you two do this challenge and we'll see what happens then. And they accepted, with terms, of course. There are terms involved always. I believe Skylanders are involved, and planting the garden if they lose. So they are not allowed to have any of the things I mentioned either on this challenge. So that being said, we came up with some cool alternatives to some of the items that we would miss. So for example, every morning in my coffee, I had white sugar. I cut out creamer a long time ago because of the amount of sugar that was in it, as well as because it was only lactose free and still upset my stomach. So I chose to give it up and decided just to go with sugar. Well, that's obviously not a good thing when you are on a no junk food diet. So that being said, I had to find alternatives, and I found two alternatives actually that are recommended. One is pure maple sugar. Okay, it had to be 100% pure maple sugar with no additives, and pure honey. This is one of the local companies in Michigan that we get, and it's the actual honeycomb itself, so it's a little bit thicker, but it dissolves really nice into the coffee. That being said, there is also, I found a creamer that is a almond milk base, which is better for my tummy, and it's an all natural, so it does not have any additives in it, and they use all natural flavor and cane sugar, which is much better for you than white sugar and processed sugar. So that is what I've been using. Also, I love chips. When I'm craving something salty, salt and vinegar chips have been my go-to. So I found these amazing peanuts. Okay guys, these are so good. They're salt and vinegar, and they do taste just like salt and vinegar chips. And then for my sweet tooth, I found salted caramel peanuts. So those are both really great. They both are all natural ingredients that are coated on them. So that also got me thinking, what are some alternatives to candy or to the sweets that I'm gonna need, especially around, you know, once a month? And I came up with some alternatives that I think will definitely curb the sweet tooth. One of those is obvious fruit, right? Watermelon, pineapple especially, anything that's that sweet fruit will calm that down a little bit. Another really cool option is frozen fruit. So one of my favorite things to do is you take blueberries and you put some Greek yogurt or whatever your favorite yogurt is, plain or vanilla flavored, and you put it in like a muffin, silicone muffin tin, and then you put the blueberry in the middle of it and kind of like a toothpick in the blueberry, and then you freeze it for a good like hour. You instantly have a really amazing snack, especially in the summer, and it's really good for you. So that's a really good option. Sweetened nuts. So again, the salted caramel that I showed you, but you can even just get your own and bake them in the oven at 400 with olive oil and cinnamon and sugar. Another great option, the cinnamon chickpeas. Now everybody hears chickpeas and they go, I don't know. It's actually really good, so don't knock it till you try it. I'm gonna throw a recipe in the comments for you guys. It is amazing, so definitely try that. And then smoothies, you know, especially in the morning, my kids were used to donuts or muffins, chocolate chip waffles, chocolate chip pancakes. And with this challenge, I took away all the chocolate chip. I said, but blueberry waffles, okay. I can even do like a blueberry whole grain pancake for you guys, pure maple syrup, but no more chocolate chip. And so for them, it was like, ooh, okay. But smoothies are actually a really good alternate to needing that sweetness in the morning. So if you take bananas that are brown, you want them to be at the brown level, not green. So you get that sugar from it, the natural sugar. And then you grab any other kind of berries you'd like, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and then throw in some chia seeds for a little fiber and Greek yogurt for the protein, or again, anything that's your favorite, but vanilla based is probably best for, again, that little sweetness. You can also add some honey to this and then just blend it and drink, and it's amazing how much that curbs that craving that you have for a chocolatey donut or a sweet breakfast pastry. And then finally, trail mix. So trail mix, you can put anything in, right? But dried fruit is a great option inside the trail mix, as well as nuts. Throw in some of those chickpeas with the sweet cinnamon sugar on it. You can throw in some coconut. You can throw in different seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. So many of those seeds are so great for you and have such a great flavor if you bake them, and again, throw in a little honey on top of them. Honey roasted, so good. Air fryer is really good for that too, so you can find a million recipes on that, I'm sure. So just some alternatives that we are going to be implementing into our routine so that we kind of can stay on track and get away from the processed sugars that we were eating so much of. I also, in the beginning of this challenge, did take some measurements and my weight, and I'm gonna see what happens. I'm also obviously taking care of myself, as I always have, drinking plenty of water and making sure that I try to get in my steps throughout the day. It'll be interesting to see if cutting out the processed sugar that I was eating on a daily basis will help. So that is my challenge that we have going on in the house, as well as the bets that we have going on in the house. It's been interesting. So far, my son actually was tempted at school. His guidance counselor had seen him and a friend and offered them some Oreos because they were doing such a great thing at school that day. And he said, you know, I'm doing a challenge and I'm not allowed to have those. And she said, that's fine. I will save them for you for when you're done. And he is looking forward to that day. He also has camp coming up. And so they are supposed to have homemade cinnamon buns on day 2 of camp, and I told him that would be the only day he can do a cheat. Other than that, he has to stick to the diet. We've also found a few alternatives at our local Aldi that we really care for. Tortilla chips that are whole grain breads, whole grain, 100% whole grain wheat tortillas that we use for wraps, and had tacos last night with them. So there's a lot of things out there that you can find an alternative for white breads and pastries and things like that, things that you can replace that you won't really miss. Popcorn instead of chips. Pirate Booty white cheddar popcorn, so good and not bad for you, no additives. It's purely popcorn and white cheddar flavoring, so black pepper and salt, I believe. Check that out. Or even there's plenty of different butternut squash or cauliflower chips, veggie straws. My kids are loving the veggie straws. So it's actually gotten quite creative around here. We've gotten some new snacks that I actually like, and we've said we're going to keep these even after the challenge. So I'm hoping that this will be a segue into a little bit more healthy living for us, and hopefully we'll kind of break some habits that we had, such as candy every weekend and things like that. Pop, especially. We drink a lot of pop on the weekends, myself included. The Mexican Coke is my favorite, so I would drink that all the time. And so now we are finding bubbly water is the replacement for that. Not as sweet, but still has the carbon and kind of gives you the feeling. So again, just all about alternatives, the healthy alternative versus the not, and following the challenge to a T. And so far I am on day 6. I am on day 7 and I have not cheated, and I've been doing really well. So I feel really good, and I can't wait to see what happens after the 21 days. So if you want to do this challenge with us, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Or if you have some alternatives that I haven't mentioned that you know of, please let me know. I love alternatives that we can use in the house. As always, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Hit the notification bell for more content. I promise there's plenty to come. Comment below, like and share this video out for anybody that would like to join the challenge with us. So the No Junk Food Challenge, 21 days of no junk food. Let's see how it goes. Thanks for stopping by, guys. See you later.